Oh yeah, the muskox was good too.
Well, I know that it was just at the forums decided it would be called the Swamp Thing, which is fair.
The swamp thing.
Yeah.
The C4005 Swamp Thing. Okay, so this is the T14 assault tank. I guess we're all here.
We are all here.
Yes.
I believe so, yeah.
Hello,
Hi.
internet viewers.
Hello.
Who's gonna be viewing this thing, anyways? To be honest.
Probably like 10 people.
Well,
10
those 10
the
people are
we
in
found.
they're in for a wild ride.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what's the name of this podcast, guys? Do we even have a name?
We're the Micro Machines podcast.
We don't.
Yeah, I guess we
Are
are.
we? Well, now we're going macro. We are talking about real tanks.
Yes.
Oh, true.
A very big tank today. Well, sort
yeah,
of big.
This is the opposite of micro.
Columbus, what are we looking at?
We are looking at the T14 prototype heavy assault.
This thing, not this thing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
This guy.
I've actually seen it in real life. Yeah.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Tank Fest 2019.
Oh, that's right. You
Went
went
to
to
go-
Bovington.
Should tell us about that later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Okay.
T14. I'm in War Thunder right now.
Yep, same.
Yeah, this is the kind of production value you guys can expect. We're actually getting the armor penetration simulations all fired up.
Hey, Ezra, what's your War Thunder name?
Donut. That's pretty much my name on everything.
Okay, everybody who watches this
Just
podcast,
Donut.
add Donut on War Thunder.
Yes.
Send them Golden Eagles.
Please, I need them.
So, it's just Donut, no numbers or anything?
Honestly, I haven't logged on in a while. Let me check.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, Donut 2005. All right, there we go. Yeah, everyone, please
Donut
at me.
2005. Yeah.
We're doing our ads early on this podcast.
Sure, why not?
Okay, so, yeah, I figured we're in this podcast. Like we're gonna cover like the hard factors of the tank. So the armor, like the armor it has, its armament, its mobility. But I think it's also worth talking before we get into all that about what exactly we're looking at on this slide, why it exists, like the kind of the history behind it, and why it was made. So yeah, I mean, I guess I've watched the tank chat on this, so I can just go ahead. So in the Second World War, there was this joint program between America and Britain to produce basically an assault tank. So the British would call it an infantry tank. The Americans wouldn't call it that because they don't like that terminology apparently. But basically, the idea was to create a sort of heavily armored tank that could support the infantry that didn't already exist. So, like, not an M4, not a Churchill, but something entirely new. And that could be used basically to support infantry, when they were assaulting areas, say, for instance, what happened in Italy, what happened in Normandy, this tank could support them. So it wouldn't be as fast as, say, a cruiser tank, but it would be, it would also be faster than just an outright heavy tank. So, yeah, that's why it's, people debate. It's sometimes called a heavy tank, sometimes called an assault tank. But I think the more accurate way of defining this is an assault tank that basically can support the infantry, but it's also fast enough that it can push ahead of them. Yeah.
So it's like a heavy tank. Just somewhere in the middle.
It's kind of like, I guess, a World War II analog of the main battle tank, you could call it. Because like in modern times, they support infantry, but they also push ahead of them.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it seems like if I were an infantryman, I would use that as my mobile bunker.
Well,
Seems like a good to stay for me.
Well, I guess speaking of mobile bunker, then we can talk about the armor protection of it. So,
I am currently trying to find an 88mm shell to use against it.
Nice.
yeah, basically the idea this was an American design, right? So the Americans came up with the design. The British came up with a design, which was the A33 Excelsior. The American idea was basically to take a lot. It was to take like the general idea of the M4 Sherman, but to slap a lot of armor plate on it. So, for instance, in the transmission cover at the front of this tank has 100 millimeters of armor, and it's, I think, cast steel. Yeah.
Yeah, cast.
Yeah,
Oh.
and then like the front, the kind of the upper front armor plate is 50 millimeters sloped at. Do you know what angle it is?
The upper hull?
Yeah, like the front upper plate.
Yeah, 69.
About 60 degrees,
Nice.
isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
69 degrees. And at 1,000 yards, penetration is not possible from a Tiger's 88 mil.
Really? Damn.
Really?
Well, I guess, yeah, 50 degrees sloped. Yeah, but the idea was basically that this tank, because it was an assault tank that was supposed to be able to basically move with the infantry and soak up a lot of anti-tank fire, it was quite heavily armored, especially, you know, in comparison with, say, tanks like the early M4 Shermans or the M3s or the M5s. So yeah, it had a lot more armor. It also had armor laid out a bit differently than, say, other tanks of the period. So one thing you'll note is it has these, they were called bazooka plates, but it's basically got these armored side skirts. And I'm not sure exactly how much armor it was, but it wasn't an insignificant amount. It could actually, if not, you know, stop, you know, shells outright, it could definitely slow them down. It could rob them of a lot of their kinetic energy, which could help protect the suspension units, as well as, of course, you know, the ammunition stowage.
I think they
Even
also...
oh, sorry.
I was going to say, yeah, so that 60 degrees, if you're looking at an anti-tank gun, which is what, maybe half a meter off the ground firing up, you'd have a lot of difficulty trying to get anything through that. You'd just be ricocheting everything.
Yeah, at 1,000 yards, pretty much you can't pin it straight on.
What about a heat round? Because I know that the Germans began using heat rounds with their anti-tank guns later in the war to a limited extent. Can it still make its way through, or is it
heat,
the
you can do
heat? Yeah.
You can do it with heat, yeah.
But yeah, heat was in such short
here's
supply.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah, it's
still some
possible to
parts where
pin.
There's still some parts where it's like difficult with heat.
Well, I imagine it would get crushed by the impact angle a lot of the time.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So in terms of armor, this has quite a bit more armor than, say, your standard M4 Sherman, especially of the 1942 to 43 period, because development of this did start around. It really picked up around 1942. So it was a lot more survivable than, say, what you might see in the the M4A1s and the M4A2s, which meant also it did have reduced mobility as a result of that. But it also had some survivability features. For instance, it had larger hatches on this tank than, say, what you might see at the time for, say, British Shermans, which had those small hatches, especially for the driver and co-driver. This had much larger hatches. I imagine that, if the chieftain did his oh bugger, the tank is on fire test, he could probably get out of this considerably faster. So it had that. It had those features. On the whole, however, that was about it. It didn't really have anything else to protect it. There's nothing else that was, particular to this as the assault tank.
So no, wet storage or anything?
No, not that I know of.
Hmm.
I think it would be hard to ammo rack. It's all the ammo is centered.
Oh, this is interesting. The crew was issued 600 rounds of 45 cal ammo.
American tanks did that a lot, didn't they? They gave them like a whole bunch of small arms and said, "Yeah, fight on foot."
Yeah. I wouldn't want a 1911 though to defend myself.
Yeah. You just see one guy with one 1911. He's got like a whole big crate of 45 ammunition with him. Like, yeah, we were only given one 1911 to defend the tank, but we were given all this ammunition.
Right. He's having to individually load each round into the clip.
Oh yeah. Okay, anyone got anything to say about what would happen if this tank gets hit? Would anything happen?
From
Big
1,000
old bounce
yards,
sometimes.
yeah, from 1,000 yards, it'll most likely bounce.
Well, I mean, how far away would this likely get shot at? Like, I'm trying to think because there were plans originally to deploy this in an invasion of Europe, and so like if this had been in Normandy, I mean, a lot of the time it would be
True.
shot by what, point blank range?
Yeah, from like Pac 40s?
Well, I'd imagine so, yeah, because 1944, what was it? The majority of anti-tank guns were either 5 or 7.5 centimeters.
Yeah, probably.
And you had a whole lot of kids running around with holding Panzerfaust.
Well, I was about to ask Columbus. You've actually seen this
Yeah.
thing in real life. What's it like, in comparison to say, the person who's just standing around? Is it like a pretty large, slow-moving target, or is it,
Oh, it's fucking big, man. I stand at what 6'3", and it's probably another 2 foot, 3 foot higher. I'd say maybe.
So like around here, basically, yeah.
Yeah, it's be an easy target to hit.
So more than
No.
a Columbus.
Yeah, it's like a Columbus and add a bit more. Yeah,
Okay, so
it's
yeah.
a Columbus and a bit high.
All right, so from now on, what we're going to do when we're measuring the height of tanks is we're going to use the unit of Columbi. So this is what I'd say probably like 1.3 Columbi. Yeah. Nah,
I'd
maybe.
call it that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
accurate
right.
enough.
Okay.
I mean, it's
Okay,
sitting,
so
it's sitting like slightly lower than the jumbo in the first slide. So those jumbos are bloody tall.
Would this thing even be able to get up the beach? Like, it looks like a monster.
Well, I mean,
honestly,
it depends a lot on what the beach is made of, right?
Right.
Because like in Dieppe, for instance, you've got the Churchill tanks, right?
yeah, right.
And the Churchills have like pretty nice tracks. Like those things are really made to tear up like soft ground, but the beaches in Dieppe were made out of these rocks, which were they were really rounded. Like there was nothing basically for the tracks to grab onto. They kept slipping, and that's why a lot of the Churchills basically ended up just beaching themselves. Like they couldn't extricate themselves off that beachhead. I mean, the tracks on this, you think about it, the tracks are a bit different. Donut, these look almost like CDPs in a way. They've got that similar shape.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
They'd have like a lot of contact. You could, I don't know, the power to weight seems decent.
I mean, Columbus, how did this thing haul around? Did you see like, did it seem to have a tendency to be pretty agile, or?
They when I saw it, they weren't. It wasn't moving around.
Oh, okay.
It was literally in like the back corner of the conservation hangar.
Oh, true. Yeah, they haven't moved it out of there in a while, I bet.
Oh God, no, that.
Yeah, so
You
definitely
tried
not.
to run that.
Yeah. So, I guess the composition of the beach is one thing, right? So, like, if you've got just sand, if you've got like really hard packed sand, like say we have here in Ontario around the lake, the sand is really, in some places at least, you can like run around on it, and it's like running around on asphalt. So like in that scenario, you've got a really heavy tank that's just compressing the sand more. I think, yeah, it would be able to get around pretty well, but like, you could get off the beach then. But like if you're say in Dieppe or anywhere around like more of that central French area, ooh, I don't know. Like I have a feeling that
sunk.
it would probably struggle a bit. Well, that's why a lot.
Yeah,
of this
Oh well, it doesn't also help. It doesn't help that the the bogies are terrible and the tracks keep getting thrown.
And speaking of mobility, I guess this thing threw its tracks all the time, like literally all the time.
You imagine that you've just survived a beach landing, somehow got it over the sand, and hey, guess what? Tracks are gone. No reason.
It's kind of odd too, because
You
these
and
are
the enemy
wide.
tiger. You and the enemy tiger just replacing your tracks.
Just like plinking rounds off of each other at 2,000 meters, just changing your tracks.
Yeah. And then you move forward to engage like another 100 meters. Both tracks get flung again.
Yeah, a bogey just spontaneously snaps off.
Yeah. So, what power plant did this tank use? I guess that's a good way to start off mobility.
It used a Ford Gaz V8. And it could also later get a Ford V12.
Ah, so it was a Formula One car.
Oh, pretty much.
Yeah, basically.
Just, slightly less maneuverable.
Lewis Hamilton in the driver's seat.
I'd pay to watch that.
Yeah. Get up Dieppe first. V8 doesn't seem like too much for something like this.
Yeah, it's a pretty heavy tank.
Well, the Gaz was also like more powerful than the standard Ford V8. Is that correct?
I'm not sure. It doesn't say. And for anyone wondering, we're using the Tank Museum encyclopedia as source.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not very organized.
Nah, don't even worry about it. If you wanted to know, you could have just read it yourself, but instead you chose to listen to us.
Yeah.
And that's where you went wrong.
Yeah. One thing that I was like, when I was just looking up on Google Images, pictures to put in these slides, one thing that I kept noticing was that in a lot of ways, this tank has sort of an almost superficial resemblance to the M6 heavy tank, which was produced earlier on in, I want to say, what was it, 1941? The prototypes for this came out?
M6, hold on.
Yeah, it was around 41 the M6 was being tested.
Yeah.
It's a pity they never actually got it passed, because it's actually a pretty cool looking tank.
Well, it had 76 too, so like it had that anti-tank capability.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now correct me if I'm wrong. The tracks look to at least have some resemblance to those used by the M6. I'm not sure if they're like the exact same model, but they definitely use the same sort of overall design.
Right.
I
mean, they do look similar. They do look very similar.
Yeah. One thing that definitely
the M6 engine is so much. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Just gonna say the M6 engine is so much bigger.
It's a radial, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's got like almost double the horse. Huh. Okay, go on.
Yeah, all I was going to say is that one thing that definitely does seem inherited from the M6 kind of directly is the fact that this has, I want to call it the copy-paste suspension design, where they take these vertical volute suspension units and say when you've got, say, like what, an M4, one of the early M4s, you just have one of these units and you get, 3 of those for each track run. Well, because these are double length tracks, basically you've got double of all of the suspension components. So you can't really see it. You can kind of see it here in this colored photo here. You've got your outboard suspension units, but you also have ones on the inside, and I don't think they're actually linked. So they've basically just adopted these really wide tracks, and to actually use these tracks, they've, instead of developing like purpose-built suspension units, they've just taken what they had for the M3s and the M4s and then multiplied them.
Right. Yeah, and the T14 was also made to share a lot of parts with the M4.
Well, it has more than a passing resemblance.
Yeah.
The relatives.
Which makes me think, were they planning on like just mass producing these like the M4s? That would have been weird to see.
Yeah, huh.
I mean, the Americans during the Second World War, if they were going to make something, they were going to mass produce it.
Right.
Yeah, it was definitely not like the Germans, where you get like every 20th Tiger on the production line is somewhat different from the ones before it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I could go into great detail about that, but...
Or T-34s in Russia, where every factory basically made their own variant of the T-34. They were so different.
Well,
Right.
they were doing that because they knew that like in the 21st century, Mini Art would be making T-34 kits, so they figured, yeah, let's give them a hand here.
So
I wonder. What do you guys
Division.
think? Is that myth about T-34s rolling off the factory and just straight into battle, still in their primer, real or not?
Well, I mean, weren't some German tanks also shipped with some of their components still in the primer?
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe the like behind the running gear. I'm not sure.
It doesn't seem like too far fetched to us to think that because I know that there was the Stalingrad, what was it, tractor factory, and they were producing
Yeah.
tanks
Right.
right up until the point that they got captured.
Exactly. I was bringing that up just to piss off that one guy in Kitmaker that was
Oh, we're getting
going on the
canceled. We're
rant.
getting canceled. There you go. Kitmaker's canceled us.
I had to bring it up. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
well,
Look what you've
you're
done.
not supposed to
Audience.
mention that website.
The last slide says, "Please don't cancel us." Hopefully that'll help.
But yeah, I
Does it?
mean, it is true that some T-34s were shipped without driver's seats, so I don't think it's like too far fetched to say that
Oh,
they would be shipped, still in their primer.
I can see it happening, and I think I've seen the German ones still in their armor too. I saw a picture of a 470 lag.
Well, there's that whole meme about the whole red oxide primer. Like you've got 2 trillion different paint colors dedicated to it, and the entire
True.
Yeah.
yeah, it seems like Ammo by MiG somehow survives solely off of their exports of King Tiger 46s.
Right. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of them, but
Gotta try that out sometime then.
Now, one thing that I did read about this tank was that even though it was really heavy, like it's significantly heavier than the M4s, off of which it's at least superficially based off, it seems, it still could go at a reasonably decent clip. I think something about, 30 kilometers an hour on roads?
yeah, about 24 miles an hour, I think.
24 miles an hour is, yeah,
Yes.
a little bit more than
I
30
don't know.
kilometers
Double
an
check.
hour. I mean, that's not
Yeah, War
terrible.
Thunder says 38 kilometers an hour.
Yes, the world's most informative and least biased source of information on tanks, War Thunder.
All right.
Of course.
Yeah, here we go. 24
This is
miles an
all about the
hour,
tank.
38 kilometers.
38's not terrible.
Mm-mm.
38's pretty good, especially for something like this.
But yeah, it's like not even a Sherman where you've got, the radial engine that's just kind of, shoving that thing as quickly as possible. Like this is a pretty heavy object and it's got, much, I would imagine it would have much better off-road mobility, at least in theory, since it's got much wider tracks so it can distribute its ground pressure a bit
Right.
better. But yeah, I mean, I guess one segue kind of between armor protection and mobility is, as I've said before, the side skirts. And as I understand it, the original plan was never to include these, but the Americans were obviously like, this was a joint venture with the British, right? And the British liked their side skirts, so they put these on more or less as an afterthought, and they were armor plated. I mean, you can see in this image again about how thick they are. I'm sure that could stop a pack, 37 round.
Mm-hmm.
And basically what you've got is they fold up, which allows you to actually work on the tracks and the suspension. But for
In
whatever
theory.
reason, as I said, before, this tank would throw its tracks. And it did so repeatedly during testing in America. Why do you think that is?
I was just gonna ask that.
Columbus, you've seen this thing. Why does it keep throwing its tracks?
You're our resident expert.
Oh dear, we're fucked. Right. I'm going to just take a stab at it and probably say something to do with the double bogies. Probably wrong, but That's my guess. And
Not
possibly
sure.
the idler wheel on the back. Is it the idler wheels on the back on this one, isn't it? Yeah.
All right, okay. So the bogey wheels, especially on the outside on the center set, were constantly badly damaged by the tracks when operating over cross-country terrain. In turn, the track guides were broken and not too much.
So this thing just snapped its track guides.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ah, the T14 track eater.
Eight China.
Huh.
Anyone know why they probably put the 75 mil as opposed to the 76 on it,
Well,
as they did with the Jumbo Sherman?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. This is the one thing I kind of know a little bit about because I watched all of the Chieftains videos on this. Okay, so this was being developed around 1942, 1943, and at that time, the Americans had some experiences where they realized, okay, the 76 is better, say like in North Africa, and then also in Italy as well. But at the time, because it was probably going to be used in the invasion of Western Europe, and at the time, a lot of the thinking was that the 76 was not going to be as effective at supporting the infantry because this was not meant really to necessarily fight tanks. It was more to support the infantry. The 75 millimeter M3 cannon, which is the same as we see here on this, is that an M43? I can't tell.
Is that the one on the first slide?
No, it's a different one.
One's like, I'll play War Thunder.
Oh, that one.
I got distracted.
actually-
That one. Fuck, I can't tell. That might be an A2.
Yeah, it kind of looks like it, doesn't it? Because it's got one of the early turrets on it. Whatever. Anyways, this Sherman here, right? The idea with most of the original Shermans was that they have this low velocity M3 75mm gun. And the thing with that is that because it's low velocity, in the shell, you can fit basically the ratio of like shell, structural components of the shell to the warhead itself is going to be, you've got more warhead than say in the 76mm round because the casing of the high velocity shell has to be thicker. So
Right.
with a low velocity gun, basically you can get more bang for
You
your
can
buck.
jam more.
Exactly. So that's why they mounted the M3 because this was intended to support infantry more so than fight tanks, which meant that also it did have some anti-tank ability, but by 1944, the year that it actually arrived in Britain, that was all gone.
It just didn't have a hope in hell at that point.
No. And also, I'd point out, like it has the early style commander's hatch. It doesn't actually have a cupola with vision ports. It doesn't look like it has very good visibility. So even engaging a tank in the first place would be pretty tough. And also, it had two M1919 A4s and an M2 caliber 50.
Right.
Although I've never seen the caliber 50 mounted on this.
It just exists on paper.
It didn't War Thunder.
Well, that's
But
true.
Oh yeah, you know
Yeah.
what though.
Yeah, I wonder what it would have looked like if they had actually put an anti-tank gun on it.
Put a long-barreled 76 on it. I think it would look good.
Would have definitely
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
more effective. Or a 17-pounder. There you go.
yeah,
I
that's
think it
for
would have
all
fit in the
you.
turret.
Just mounted sideways. It'll be fine.
Or do what the British did with the Comet, where they just have a sawed-off 17-pounder.
Sawed off. Oh no.
It's a
Oh,
Firefly,
dear.
but gangster.
Basically a howitzer.
Seems legit.
Yeah, you gotta put a 105mm in this thing.
Oh yeah.
That would.
That's one thing I always wonder. Like with these infantry tanks, why do they stick to stuff like 6-pounders and 75s? Why don't they just go ahead and put 95 and 105 millimeter howitzers in them?
Right, because it has to, to support the infantry, so it's not like we're really fast.
But this one also had to be fast.
That's true. I guess it did have to, at least in theory, be able to fight tanks.
I mean, if you're a German soldier on the wrong end of that cannon, a 105 and a 75, you're going to be thinking the same thing anyway.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, if my experience in War Thunder has ever actually amounted to anything, it's that I do know the M3 can actually destroy some German tanks, like the Panzer IVs.
Yep.
It can actually cause some damage to them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you hit them dead flat from the side or anything like that, you should be all right.
Yeah, I don't think this thing's getting around anybody's side, though, anytime soon.
No.
Just outrun the turret of a
just stay-
Tiger, slowly.
Stay in the
Speaking
bushes.
of getting around the side of stuff, we should do an episode on the Churchill gun carrier.
Oh, don't worry, that's going to be included. Don't worry, I've got that one sorted.
There we go.
Nice.
That's a
What
great
the
tip
heck, sir?
there.
Now I've just trapped myself, haven't I?
Yep.
All right, boys,
That was
fire up the
great.
Churchill gun carrier in War Thunder. We're going to see how this thing performed.
You mean the Churchill game carrier? Just saying,
Nah, man, I've been killed way too many times with that thing. It's useless.
But you look good doing it, so that's what
That
matters.
is true.
That is true.
I mean, a lot of
Didn't
people say it's
Squire-
ugly, but
Didn't Squire do a whole video on it saying how worthless it was?
Don't you mean the best tank the British ever made?
Ah, yes.
Look at those angles. How could it be? Those angles.
The
and
box.
it's really sad. The only one
Yeah.
that's left is at Bovington, and it's like 99% rusted out,
Dang.
and it's literally left behind a bloody building.
I'm going to wake up next
Oh.
morning and see a news report of Donut just walking there with an airbrush, and he's just repainting the whole thing.
Yeah, SEC 15.
Like some weathering.
Oh yeah, get some weathering in. Maybe some stowage
Oh,
too.
It's pretty withered at
yes.
the moment, I can tell you that.
No, I mean, no. It's weathered too heavily. It doesn't look realistic.
Now it's got way too much rust.
Right.
Well, actually, guys, I've got a photo to prove to you that it is possible.
Oh,
Let's see it.
Well, I don't know. Just look it up on Google Earth. I don't know.
that takes too
I
long.
mean,
Screw it. All right. Models. This is what we're all here to talk about. We don't know
Right.
crap about
oh
tanks.
yes.
We can't do this.
No, but we know a lot about models.
Okay.
Mm.
Anyone
Micro
take a
machines.
guess how many 35th scale kits exist of this tank?
Absolutely none.
Yeah, basically.
Like, probably like. Oh no, that's a resin kit at the top. So
That's
Yeah,
actually a
like-
50 what is it, 1 to 50 scale? You guys know Flames of War?
I thought 15 mil was 1/100 scale.
No, it's 1 to 50 scale. It's just a
Strange.
little bit smaller than 48th.
Really? Huh.
Yeah,
It looks
but
very cartoonish.
oh yeah,
at that
all of the
scale.
world's
Yeah, it does.
all of the Flames of War stuff is pretty cartoonish. But I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
ever played it, but basically, yeah, it's like Dungeons and Dragons, but for World War II. That's I guess one way of looking at it. So they make a whole bunch of tank kits, and they do make one of these. It's 2 parts. You get the turret and the hull, but is injection molded plastic.
Yeah, and honestly, most of the Flames of War kits aren't that bad. Like their Sexton looks really nice.
Oh yeah, and you can 3D print them too.
Right. Yeah, lots of hard CAD work right there.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah,
So we got the One Piece track special down here for all of you aspiring 3D printers. actually looks half decent though.
Yeah, you'd have to cover those tracks in mud, though. I mean, if you can call them
Oh, yeah.
tracks.
I mean, would you even be able to like add detail to these? I'm too new to the 3D printing to tell.
Yeah, I mean, if you're experienced enough with like Blender, I bet you could.
Or you could just spend all your time making
Mud
the
fix
Bob
it.
sample.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm like 50. I'm almost there.
Columbus,
I
this
think-
is
I
your
think for
chance.
the-
Yeah.
I think for the T14 though, we definitely need a 35th scale kit of it, and I think Tamiya should totally do it.
Oh, that would be
Right.
great.
Yeah.
Link and length tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Tamiya's crazy enough to do the T14?
Well, I mean, they're running out of
Mm.
World War II subjects to do at this point.
True.
Do they even want to do World War II subjects?
But, I mean, have they done any modern tanks in like a while?
No, not really. I'm trying to think, when did their Abrams and Leopard came out along?
The Leopard was like 2009 something.
Right.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
like
T14.
the general shape is like so similar to a Sherman. You just probably have to just modify it a little bit, you know?
Just a long Sherman.
Yeah, basically. Like a lot of stuff, you know, like the commander's hatch and the
Mm-hmm.
whatever this thing is. What is that? Fume extractor? Whatever. You like a lot of the
What the-
a lot of the nibbly bits you can replace.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, like with the double bogey system, you could honestly probably kit bash that yourself as well. I mean, I've got like 2 bags of Sherman parts, and it's like 90% bogey assembly. So something
Right.
like that shouldn't be too hard. It's just mainly the tracks I think you'd have difficulty with.
Well, Ezra, you've made. When you remember that Grizzly you did you put CDPs on that?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I did the Frual model CDP.
Okay, how far off are CDPs from these tracks? Like just eyeballing it.
Okay, so CDP is honestly closer to a Panzer IV track,
Mm,
so you'd have a pretty hard time
yeah.
trying to convert these.
But Frill Model makes tracks for the M6, don't they?
They did?
I think they do.
Do they? Is there even a model kit set for the M6?
Oh, now I'm going to go on Scalemates. Hold on.
Looking at
Yeah, I've seen an M6 kit. I just forget who makes it.
M6 135.
Not that it would ever really matter for me, because
Dragon.
something like that would never even make it to this bloody country, so
Yeah,
unless I
what,
want to pay like $200 for shipping.
what even is like the model situation over there? Like, do you guys have hobby stores even?
Yeah. I mean, I think our last search, we got like something like 15 in Auckland alone, but most of
Wow.
them are pretty empty at the moment. Not a lot of new stuff's coming in just because of our COVID regulations and all that. A lot of shipping containers aren't turning up, so yeah, like there's just low stock at the moment. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't think Frual does M6. I mean, yeah, M6 tracks.
I swear they did. Like, I'm going crazy now because I remember I was browsing the website at work and it was something M6. But yeah, Dragon makes the M6 and it's got the tracks. So I bet you could even just take a lot of the parts from this and take some parts from the Sherman and a lot of sheet styrene and you could probably make it work.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, or just 3D model it.
You could do that.
Good try.
Okay, I have a sad story. My Grizzly, I tried stripping it down, and what I used to strip it down just melted it.
What'd you use?
I forget. It was a while ago. Some like paint stripper. I'm not sure. Luckily, I took the bogies off and the tracks, so they're fine. I'll just need to find a donor kit for the small hatch. Sure.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The turret was resin with a metal barrel, so I think it's saved.
that's not bad. You guys ever seen the AK interactive paint stripper? And it's like on the bottle, it actually does have strippers on it. I remember I was eating lunch one time. I was looking at a bottle of it. My head put two and two together.
I'm looking this up right now.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you haven't
one
seen it
moment.
before.
AKE interactive paint stripper.
Here, I'll put an image, pull up an image of this for anyone who's watching this on YouTube. Hopefully, I don't get, hammered by the algorithm.
Oh, it does. That's golden.
Oh
Wow,
my god, it does.
that's funny.
Oh,
Yeah, if you hold on, if you look just to the side here, you can just see it. Yeah.
now that's advertising.
Oh,
Yeah, AK Interactive knows who target audience, obviously.
yeah.
Yeah, paint strippers can be weird though. Like I know I've got the Tamiya one. It's
Mm-hmm.
nasty, man. It just melts stuff.
Yeah, when it comes to that kind of stuff, I don't actually use branded stuff. My dad actually works in a laboratory, so I just ask him, "Oh, do you have anything that will strip this paint?" I've got 3 bottles of unidentified, can't tell what it is, but boy, it's good. I've got one that even completely melts acrylic paints.
Damn. Does it make you high as a kite when you're doing it as well?
Maybe a little bit. If I forget to open a window, it's good stuff. But yeah, it's this stuff you like. If the airbrush gets clogged up with acrylic paint, literally just soak it in that, and you watch the acrylic paint just turn into this gooey glob that you can pull out of the
Oh, that's nice.
airbrush. It is amazing stuff, but geez, it's powerful. It's yeah. Don't know what the hell it is, but it's good.
Yeah, that would be great, but I don't even use acrylics anymore.
I try
Yeah.
not to. Not a fan of them now.
What are you guys
What do you
using?
use, Cam? I'm using all the ammo paints. I really like them.
Are those
They
acrylic?
spray. I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
They thin with X20A, so I'm guessing.
How about you, Columbus?
Well, depends on what I'm doing. Like for all the base colors, I was actually given by same dad about 50 pots of it's actually roofing paint, not model paint, but
Huh.
it's actually it's about 3 times more durable, and it's properly formulated for airbrushes. So I use that as base, and then I usually Tamiya enamels for detail work and oil paints. That's usually me.
Yeah, the enamels are pretty good.
Or you could follow the advice of Chris and do all your painting with those Walmart craft paints.
Those are good.
He gets
Those are
amazing
good.
finishes.
Yeah, if you want a good matte finish, go for the cheap Walmart paints or
Mm-hmm.
Canada Dollar app.
That or Mission Models.
Yeah.
They make really good matte finishes. And you don't have to thin
I
them
have-
if you're airbrushing.
I have 1 bottle of Mission Models paint. I have their desert paint.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they make really good. I know olive drab and Russian, like the modern Russian green you see on the T72s. They make like a whole bunch of different shades of it, and it's pretty good stuff. I used it on the
That's cool.
Firefly.
Nice.
What's everyone's current build at the moment, like main focus? Because I know most of you probably have about 5 or 6 on the go. But what's everyone's main focus right now?
right now I've been working on my Turpits, Tamiya 1350th, and I just picked up some more stuff at Great Hobbies today. Oh, I just shared a name, huh? Is that
Thanks, Jack.
promotion?
Now I'm getting fired. Nah, it's okay.
No, it'll make more sales.
None of the views
Yeah.
expressed by me or like anyone in this call represents like official Great Hobbies like policy or thoughts. I'm off the clock.
Don't just don't say that you are connected to them in any way, and we'll be fine.
Dude, I think I just did.
You just
Get
admitted.
that all out. Okay.
Great store.
You better.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice store.
Yeah, hopefully I can go up there in
But yeah.
September.
Oh, that'd be nice. But yeah, I've just been working on my Turpits because I just finished my Chilean Martyr diorama, and I'm thinking I'm going to work on an M5 next for the Great Canadian campaign on Kitmaker. But I haven't started that yet. I've only got the Turpits right now. Who's next?
Yeah, and that wooden deck looks awesome that you're building for it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Explain what you did for like because most people just when they think of wooden decks, either you just paint the one molded onto the plastic or you buy like those stickers off of eBay. Like, what are you doing with that?
I bought 2 sheets of balsa wood, and I cut them to size. I traced them out on the older plastic deck because the deck comes in 3 parts. So I taped them together and I traced it to the same shape, and then I just scribed like wooden planks into it, just completely all the way down. So now I have this sheet of balsa that has planks in it, like scribed all the way down. And then I photocopied the deck comes in 3 parts. I photocopied each part of the plastic deck, cut them out, and taped them on top. So then I had a stencil where I could fill in each place, and then I started to cut out parts from the plastic deck and put them in where I had the markings from the stencil. So I'm just basically constructing like a whole brand new deck, whole new surface. And it's reinforced by polystyrene and some metal rods and everything so it doesn't cave in. But it's a big modification, and I think it's going pretty well so far.
Yeah, from the pictures you posted, it looks great.
Yeah. It doesn't fit the hull like completely, but I think I could just fill that in with some like polyfill, like wood filler,
Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
and it should be fine. Yeah, mix that with PVA maybe.
You can even get like micro balloons. Mix that with PVA. Use that as well.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's huh.
Yeah, because
And
you
then
could
I'll
get
probably
like a huge thing of micro balloons, and then you can just
Hmm.
like mix it with the PVA, and you can actually then really adjust how thick the kind of like your makeshift putty is.
Oh, yeah.
I'll have to look into that. Yeah.
Huh, I have a ton of
Um.
micro balloons. I have to try that out.
But yeah, the thing with the like micro balloons is that you can add a lot of like I don't know what you would call it consistency. You can really
Sure.
thicken
Yeah,
stuff up.
volume.
But if you want, you can actually make it so you like add some micro balloons to PVA, and then you add some water to it to make it like a really thin filler, almost like Mr.
Mm-hmm.
Surfacer, but not
Ooh.
Mr. Surfacer.
I need something
Ghetto,
thick
Mr.
because
Surfacer.
Yeah,
yeah, I need something thick to fill in the cracks, but also strong so I can scribe some new flanks into it on the edge.
Let it cracky.
Yeah, without it cracking. Yeah. And I think I'll paint it using just acrylics. Probably a bit of deck tan. Maybe I'll do like a wash underneath so it absorbs like the darker paint. And you
Yeah.
can see lines of the in between the planks a lot better.
Hmm.
I'll spray it with some deck tan. Yeah, that's what I've been considering. How about you guys? What have you been working on?
Well, I've 3 main projects right now. I have my Shot Cal, my TKSP, and my Stug 3B, and all 3 are pretty much nearly done. But yeah,
That shot kit looks incredible.
thank you.
Is that AFV Club?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I would recommend it. The turret was terrible, but the lower hull was fun to build.
Every single person who's been building a Centurion in that group build, apart from me because I don't actually am not building a proper Centurion, like all of them, they're struggling so much with their mantlets and their turrets.
I know. I will admit the resin mantlets they're using look beautiful, but just buy the AFV Club one. It'll save you a lot of trouble, but I guess the detail's not as good.
How about you, Columbus? What are you working on?
I've literally just finished an Airfix bolt and pull Defiant.
A wingy thingy.
Yeah, yeah,
What
yeah.
do
That
you
one was a
think?
lot of fun. A lot of fun to do. Video on YouTube now.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm going to link your
Oh.
channel. Actually, you know what? I'm going to, you guys let me know because I'll in the description of the YouTube video, I'm going to post like all of your current topics on Kitmaker, and I'm also Columbus going to link your channel.
Yeah,
cool.
sounds
My
good.
Instagram too.
I'm going to end up with negative subscribers. This is going to be good. So now I'm just trying to decide. I've got a 32nd scale Sopwith Camel that I've been eyeing up, but I've also got a Tamiya Type 1 self-propelled gun.
Ooh.
Yeah, that one's been staring at me for a long time. So at the moment I'm trying to flip a coin on which one I'm going to start
The,
first because they're both going to end up as videos. So
What's the camel wingnut wings kit or what?
nah, it's the Academy one. I got it for $30.
Oh.
I thought, oh screw it, I'll give it a try. Never done a 32nd scale, so if it's a bit lacking on details and stuff, I'm not really too fussed about that.
As somebody who builds almost exclusively 32nd scale for like the past, year, yeah, there's a lot of detail. It's basically like a tank kit, but with wings.
Yeah, just looking at the Academy, I think there's maybe 3 sprues.
Never mind.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it's pretty light, but for my style of things, it's not too bad. I would like a wingnut bloody aircraft, but over here they're selling for about somewhere between 150 and $200 at the moment.
There's a new
Yeah.
there's a new company from New Zealand, Qatari Models. Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah, I've heard about them. There's yeah, I heard that on the bench
Yeah.
podcast. They were talking about them. I think they've got a load of wingnuts guys over there with them now, so that'll be interesting to see what they actually put out.
So Border buys the wingnut molds, and Qatari gets the wingnut guys. Wingnuts is
Pretty
like
much.
the demise of wingnut wings is like the demise of Avro Canada. Like all of the stuff is just going everywhere else.
Right. Yeah, didn't they find like an ejector seat from an Arrow in the UK?
What? No.
I think
Really?
so. Yeah.
Dang. Hey
Has to
Jack, you
show
want
us.
to go walk across the Atlantic Ocean to go and get that? Go and steal that seat.
Oh yeah, we'll wait for another big freeze and just walk across.
Yeah.
We gotta
World's most
restore an
devious
Arrow.
slick.
I mean, you've got like, well, the Armor Regiment Museum or whatever it's called in Oshawa there.
Yeah. And if you guys, anyone who's listening, if you're in the Greater Toronto area, Stevenson Road in Oshawa, Ontario, has the Ontario Regiment Armor Museum. It is, I think, the biggest collection of functioning military vehicles, at least of tanks in North America. It's either the biggest or one of the biggest. If you like, Canadian stuff, we've got basically every Leopard. Well, not we, but they've got basically every Leopard, minus the C2A1. They've got LAV 3 there now. They've got a T55, a BMP1. They've got all. I think they've got all the CVRTs as well as all of the AVGPs. They've got, I think, 3 Chieftains there now, one of which is in Berlin Brigade colors. And
Nice.
they've got a T34. That actually runs.
Nice.
And
Oh,
I think it's 2 M4A2 E8 tanks. So like M4A2 tanks with the long barrel 76 and the horizontal volute suspension systems, as well as an M3 Stuart, an M24 Chaffee, the TLAV, which is basically a Canadian M113, which has an additional road wheel.
Pretty much it's a stretch.
different than
13, right?
It's like an M113 limousine.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a Hetzer. They've got a Marder.
Oh yeah.
And they've got a couple of SDKF said 251s, like the half tracks.
Nice.
Wait, actually. Oh
yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And one of them has even got the PAC 37 on it.
Nice.
Jeez.
And a Neltis. They've got a Neltis.
Ooh.
Yeah.
With or without tow?
Oh man, without tow. But it is one of the Bombardier Eltis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One day I'm gonna have to make an Eltis with the tow.
Yes.
They
You have
have
a
an
printer
M5.
now.
I do have a
ahead and
printer.
design it.
Yes. Yes, I'll take
they have an
reference
M5?
photos. They've got that. Do they have an M5?
I know they have one in Ottawa.
They've got one in Ottawa. I don't think they have one in Oshawa. I think it's just the M3.
M3 is good enough. I need to go there. I still haven't been.
Oh yeah, you gotta go. Also, they've
do.
got an 88 that is being restored,
Ooh.
as well as a couple of Centurions,
Ooh.
and a whole
Oh.
whole crap ton of CMP trucks, universal carriers, all of like the soft skins. They've got those as well.
Nice.
Yeah, fun for the whole family. Go there, buy some kits.
All right. I looked it up.
Some kits.
In
You can't say that.
2011, there was an Avro Aero seat in the UK that this guy was trying to sell on eBay for $250,000.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Seems reasonable.
For the seat.
No more than. Yeah, just for the seat. Which, to be fair, looks cool. So it's just a Mark Baker.
Limited edition Martin Baker.
Yeah, he believes no more than 20 seats were built.
It's got 5. Count them. 5 extra horsepower. Oh crap! I guess I'll talk about what I'm working on right now.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Shit,
We'd like to know.
I don't know if you guys do cars. I do cars occasionally because I work in an environment where like gangster rap is playing continuously, which tends to impact your perception of these things. So I've got a Prius from Fujimi, 124 scale, that I'm working on. The people in the forums are trying to convince me to put a tow missile on it.
Which you should.
Yes.
You totally should.
You definitely should.
Screw it. Maybe I will. I don't know.
Or those railings for
Oh yeah.
extra railings you could do roof
Other than that,
or make a litter out of those. I don't know.
yeah. Other than that, I'm working on, I like to call it the poor man's BMPT. So I've got this, one of the new Tamiya KV1s, and I built the hull up with the tracks and everything. And I've taken the CPU-2 anti-aircraft gun from Meng. They make a bunch of like anti-aircraft guns that you can put on technicals. And I basically just like blanked off the turret ring and slapped the anti-aircraft gun on top. It is a crime against humanity. It should not exist, but
Yep, it looks very strange.
I think I'm going to basically just use this as like weathering practice because I've found a new technique to make rust. Which,
Oh, cool.
yeah.
Do share?
Okay. To make
Yeah.
rust, you're going to need three things. You're going to need vinegar, doesn't matter what kind, steel wool, without like soap, just like literally just steel wool itself, and
Oh.
a jar, like a mason jar. And these are all things you can get at like your local dollar store, right?
Right.
So what you want to do is you want to go outside, put some steel wool in the jar, and then take vinegar and basically just pour it into the jar and then cap it, right? Because like I don't know yet, I haven't smelled anything, but I think it can produce like some pretty nasty fumes.
Right.
Definitely don't add bleach, but yeah, basically what it does is the vinegar helps oxidize the steel wool, and after like a day or so, what you get is rust. It's quite literally just rust. And so then you can like drain all the vinegar from it and then turn it into say like a dried up pigment. You can use it like that. You can keep like you can add water to it to make it into a wash. You could probably add mineral spirits to it to make it into a more of like an enamel wash.
Yeah.
But once it's dried, it is literally just a rust deposit. So like that's a really good way of just adding more realistic rust. I mean, you probably still want to use like the washes and stuff if you've got them, but it's good base, especially for larger areas.
That's a pretty good idea.
Well,
Last time I did any rust effects was on my SMK. I decided to make it fairly rusty, and I spent about 4 days with oil paints doing rust everywhere. After which I hated myself.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, it turned out looking really good, but
you're essentially just pickling steel wool.
Basically, yeah, you're pickling steel wool. And the great thing is, like, if you go to the dollar store, you get a mason jar that's like $1. You get a liter of vinegar, which is about $1.50, and then you get like some steel
Probably have
wool
some under
pads.
the sink already. Too.
Yeah, I mean, most houses already have it, so like you can do it even for free. And I mean, you can't really beat the real thing. I know Ammo. They're actually, yeah, they're coming out with like a set that is basically corrosion effects, and I think they're using the same idea.
Your kid's using that idea.
Yeah, the ammo factory is just pretty much what you said, but multiply that by like 100.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of guys dipping
Some
steel
dudes.
wool in jars. Just some dudes.
Okay. Well. That was the T-14 tank.
Right?
Did we
What
actually
little
learn
info?
anything?
We learned how to make rust.
Yes, we learned how
No
to make
comment
rust.
on the actual vehicle.
We
the actual
War
vehicle,
Thunder.
not a lot.
Fat Sherman goes slow, eats bullet. Same thing.
Throws tracks.
We learned that they don't make models of this, and it would be hard to make one yourself. So.
Yep.
You think if we
Make what
just
you want
email bombed Mr. Tamiya like enough times, he'll just get sick of it and make it just to shut us up?
Well, I could just sacrifice Ezra right now to him. Like, don't even worry about it.
That's a noble cause. I'd go willingly.
Just walk.
For the
Just walk to the
T-14?
States.
Yeah.
I'd take a Tamiya T50 over a T14.
I mean,
Actually,
I'd
I'll take a Mark 1 Churchill over the T14, I think.
I'd take a legitimate Grizzly kit over a T14.
Oh yeah, I think I would take
Oh.
a. Whew. I'd take like a proper Leopard to a 6M kit with like the Barracuda.
Yes.
Imagine
Right.
Tamiya making a 2A 6M. That'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
Okay, well, I mean, we're at the point in the podcast where I almost wonder if it's worth now discussing current events.
Um,
Mm,
Russian helicopters
already
go
said-
boom. Ukrainian tractors go
Already said-
grr. I don't know.
Cage.
Don't. Okay. Screw it. I'm adding this. Who wants to talk about the what's it called? The T-72s that we've seen.
Yes.
He's
All right,
canceled.
hold on. Let me get us all canceled real quick. Okay. To Ukraine, Russia, war.
It already says, please don't cancel us. I don't. We can't ask nicely. It's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
Cancelled on day 1.
Yeah, day one. They don't want us on the internet anymore.
I will admit I do like the roof armor on those T-72s we're seeing.
Cage.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. It's like it's kind of like those rain shelters at your elementary school.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See, those roofs are just making my case for the solid shot javelin. You know, enough with the heat, solid shot.
Yes.
You just end up with this giant missile just stuck right in the roof. No explosions, just that'll do.
Some poor Russian private just eyeing it nervously.
Guys, comrades.
All right, we fixed it. We fixed the cope cage.
Oh, perfect.
Oh no.
It was hastily drawn,
no.
so we know it's the best.
This right here, the height of Soviet design technology. Look at that thing.
Traitor.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the guys will attest that I wrote like what was it, 5 paragraphs about this thing.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I could see a future episode on this in the future.
I think we're gonna have to do like a whole series on the kind of crap we're
Oh,
seeing
yeah.
right now.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Did
Yeah.
the Cope Cage segment?
Get the ERA segment.
Yeah.
I would do anything to hear a well, there's your problem, hell of a way to die bonus episode on this.
We're getting it.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you worry. We're getting it.
Yeah.
See though, the thing is
Fine.
we're gonna have
Right.
to
We're doing it
preempt them.
ourselves.
Right.
Seize the initiative, guys.
Yeah.
That's just like a giant force field net thing.
It's basically the Star Wars program from the 80s, but for a tank.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, see, look, solid shot, just go right through that. That's it. I'm dying on that hill. Solid shot.
The APFSDS Javelin.
Yes. I will die on that hill.
I mean, I guarantee you, like, if this continues to go on, at some point we will see a tank with 2 cages. Like, one on top of the
Yes.
other. I guarantee it.
One on top of the other? You think that's how they're gonna do it?
Well, I mean, like, the whole idea is that they're trying to, prematurely activate the warhead.
Detonate. Right.
But it's a tandem charge warhead, so, like, I mean, yeah, you can get one out, but then it still goes through.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I see what you mean.
and then you'll just end up seeing triple charged javelins, and then see how many layers we can get before it ends.
Right. Yeah, they just keep adding more and more cages.
You end up with this.
Yeah, the peak of military engineering.
This is where we're headed. And Mini Art is gonna make a kit out of this.
Yes.
We're gonna have to like single-handedly drive. We're gonna have to take all the volunteered armored vehicles from Britain, just drive through Ukraine to Kiev to get the mini art molds back under work.
Production.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Great Mini Art campaign.
Of course.
People just watching us just like drive by thinking they're liberated. Now we're just driving straight to the mini art factory. Don't even worry.
Yeah.
Capitalism at its finest right here.
I mean, looking at this picture, it seems like all we've really done is just turn a T-55 into a Droideka from the terrible Star Wars prequels.
I mean, at some point, someone's gonna like come out with the Cope Cage in 35th scale.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have to do it
and
first.
I wouldn't-
individually put in all the, like, you're gonna have to do it like little segment by individually gluing everything in.
I think you can almost guarantee someone's got their resin printer up and running, and they're starting to design them. Guaranteed somewhere.
I mean,
And that person
I'm
is
looking
me.
at this. I'm looking at this right now. It doesn't seem hard to do. Just
It's just a bunch of bars.
Exactly.
It seems tedious. It just seems annoying.
Although I think
You could probably print it as one piece.
you could print it as one piece, but I think like you might have out of scale thickness. Because as I remember seeing, these are not like, it's not armor plate, right? This is just some steel. Like they just got some scrap steel,
Okay.
some steel sheeting.
But it's thicker than like slat armor, right?
I don't believe so.
Oh.
This stuff is not like high grade.
It's
Actually, you
not.
know what? I'm gonna get an actual photo. I'll see if I can paste one in.
And maybe we're confusing everybody with
Oh.
this.
There we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, here, let me get the laser pointer up and running. So, as you can see, like, it's not something that they've like put into like, it's not like an actual field modification kit that got delivered to the tank units. It's just
Them
some
building
pipes
it.
and some slats. I mean, it looks like these are kind of like triangular. They're V-shaped bars. But yeah, I don't count that to stop a javelin, which is weighs what, 15 kilos or something like that. Probably lighter, but
Yeah.
it's going at what, 100
Oh, yeah.
kilometers an hour. Nah,
It's an IKEA bed frame.
that's what it looks like they're using it for.
Yeah, literally. No, it's the modern day bed frame T-34.
The Swedes are
What's the
sweating
point?
profusely. Yo,
Aesthetics.
one thing I've always wondered, like, they, the way that they're building it, they assume the missile's going to come directly down. What if it just gets launched at an oblique angle? Then what?
Nothing. Just hope your ERA will stop it.
Yeah, I guess so. We're going to get some really interesting dioramas from this, if nothing else.
Oh yeah, that's why they're doing it. They're like, hey modelers, look at this.
Putin's playing
Right.
5D chess.
Oh yeah.
Just saying to everyone, did you
Putin
know
is-
you can make dioramas of T-72s that aren't in a desert?
No.
Okay, to be completely honest, I thought the Russians had phased out the T-72
Nah, man.
Yeah, me too.
until I saw this.
They literally just keep slapping ERA bricks on it.
Eventually, you're just going to see one giant ERA brick just rolling down the road with a barrel.
Well, I mean, that's basically what a lot of the original T-80Us looked like. It was because of the way that
True.
the ERA. I mean, come on, this Leopard C2A1. That's not really ERA, but it is still modular armor, and that's just one big armor brick.
Right. Or what
Modern
about
armor is mine.
the Challenger 2s?
Oh
The armor
yeah,
on with a C.
yeah. I think this is a T-72. I can't tell though. It might be a T-90. I don't think so.
I've just found that photo on images, and it says T90A.
Yeah, the turret doesn't really look
Mm.
like a T-72's turret.
Mhm.
It shows you like how little has changed because like the T-90 from the side is almost indistinguishable from the original T-72 M1.
I have a T90 that's like 80% built up. I might finish it and scratch build that armor on the top for it.
It would be pretty easy. I mean, all you gotta do is basically just get some, like photo etch, cut it into strips,
Yeah,
and then boom.
done.
Yeah.
Wait, who do you have this
This will
Vesta
help.
kit?
Meng.
Oh, how was that?
Oh,
Really over-engineered. The turret took like 6 or 7 hours.
Jeez,
jeez.
Probably more engineered than the actual tank.
you laugh, but maybe.
Have you seen the videos of all the Ukrainians taking inside the Russian tanks and stuff they've captured?
No.
Yeah,
I
they've
haven't.
been posting videos of what they look like inside, and they yeah, it looks like something from fucking 70s. It's just they're all beaten up inside, and yeah,
Mhm.
they look
I
like they've been
think
used for like way too long.
Well,
this
that
might be a
definitely.
horrible thing to say, but the Ukrainian Defense Instagram page is probably I spend most of my time on there just looking at the pictures, like thinking of how I can model it.
Oh, me too.
See, I know that Meg makes that BMPT, and I always wanted to
Hmm.
make it, and I was actually about to buy it literally the day that Russia invaded, and I was like, I can't do this now. But I'm just hoping that someone in the Ukrainian Defense Forces captures one, and
Right.
then carte blanche to make it.
That one farmer.
The one farmer with the most devious lick known to man.
He's getting the whole collection going. He's got a backwards deal with mini art. They're gonna. Yeah.
Yeah, just imagine now how many dioramas are going to be coming out of Russian tanks being towed by tractors.
Oh,
Oh
Oh, there's
yeah.
gonna be so many. Or
I
Russian tanks upside down falling off a bridge or something.
Yeah,
I'm willing to bet money because they're not like a lot of modern or even like 1970s to modern era tractors in 35th scale.
right.
I guarantee you, some company is going to come out with just like a generic tractor.
The
I
good
You're gonna
am.
old
see it
John
all
Deere
over.
tractor.
It gets sold
Yeah.
out immediately.
Yeah, it's gonna be all over. Just every uh page is gonna have one modern tractor diorama. It's gonna be the same one.
You know that there's like representatives from flipping fine molds. The guys from fine molds are just going out. They're taking pictures right now. They've got the Kevlar helmets on. They're just sneaking in behind the Russian lines just to get some good reference photos to make the kits back
Yes.
home.
I mean, I'd
Maybe.
be disappointed if mini art doesn't start. I mean, after this is all over, they don't start producing kits from this with like, specific markings.
Oh, they
100%.
they should totally do like piss taking diorama sets where it's like, hey, this is a Ukrainian stealing Russian tank, and the whole thing is just one kit set you can make just to
Well, it's like that
you know
that diorama kit they've made of Khan. And it's got like a Panzer IV. I think it's some kind of like command vehicle, and it's actually like got the diorama base as well. They're going to do that
Oh,
same thing,
yeah.
but with like a T90, a tractor. Yeah.
Hmm.
There's also gonna be a lot more knocked out modern Soviet tanks now, like
Right.
dioramas.
Well, you know what they say, T72, international gold medalist in the turret throwing Olympics. 7 years in a row.
7 years, baby. Gotta keep that record going.
We're totally going to go to hell for
Talking about this.
conversation.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's a special place reserved for us right now.
No, I have an even more touchy subject.
Oh no.
Ghost of Kiev. Is he real or
That's
not?
right.
Oh, he's real. I want to believe he's real.
No.
He is real.
He is
He is
real.
He's real.
He's real in my heart.
Yes.
DCS.
There's going to be a
Yes.
lot of.
Nah.
There's going to be a lot of. Was he flying the
Fulcrum. The
SU-27?
MiG 29.
Yeah,
Fulcrum.
MiG-29.
MiG-29. That's right. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of those modeled after that one now.
Yep.
Guaranteed.
DN Model Works. I think they've already released a 132nd scale mask set for his aircraft.
No, they don't wait.
Oh.
They don't miss a beat, do they?
That was quick.
Nope. And I think it's just like a generic MiG-29 in digital camo with like it's just Ukrainian handles. I think that's like all the versions it has.
Digital camo scares me. I'm staying away from that.
Well, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The only thing Russia has succeeded in doing in this war is creating an ace combat protagonist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nah,
And people said dogfights were dead.
nah, man. Gotta get that thrust
No.
vectoring. Now here's the
Wonder if
ultimate
those-
diorama idea.
Go for it.
Ghost of Kiev. It's like this is all in 1 to 700 scale, so you can make it work. Ghost of Kiev
Right.
Okay.
knocking out a
Mhm.
Russian tank, which is then towed away by a tractor.
Yeah, that makes
The
yeah,
Ghost of Kiev.
just firing air-to-air missiles at it blindly, and then so the crew just
Yeah.
runs away. Just a tractor.
Ah, yes, the Typhoon method.
Yeah, exactly.
The
Yeah.
Scare 'em.
the farmer is just on site waiting. They just follow the Ghost of Kiev where he goes. knowing they're gonna knock him.
I think you can also guarantee there's going to be dioramas of it's like Russian tank outside fuel station out of gas. Just
Right.
headline.
Yes.
Run out of gas. I wonder if any. I doubt they will, but I wonder if any company will bring out like a decal sheet with the white Z. I don't think.
Oh, I'd rather.
You reckon
paint
anyone
it,
would do that?
honestly.
I've got to be honest.
That'd be
I've never seen
cheap,
a
just
properly painted white set. Like it
Yeah.
looks like they
Yeah.
just
Be
went to
better
a
off-
hard. Probably. Although I do like that smart car with the white Z.
Someone's got to do a diorama of that one.
Yeah.
I have a Tunguska that I will be painting knocked out with the white Z.
Dang.
nice.
That's going to look good.
Tunguska, really? Oh,
Yeah,
Well,
I have some good pictures.
Wasn't it like a bunch of just like Ukrainian civilians? They just found all these Tunguskas that ran out of fuel, so they just lit them all on fire.
Yep.
oh yeah, I saw that.
Yep. And how much are those tanks worth each?
Oh, probably millions.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's something like 10 million a unit or something. Can't
Like,
remember the exact
you
the
know
exact figure.
The
Where are
NATO,
the farmers? The farmers go to get the fruits.
you know those NATO defense attaches who are trying to do like research into Russian tank design. They're just salivating right now.
Oh yeah.
It's like what back in during the Hungarian Revolution in the 50s when they wanted to learn more about the T-55. So they literally just paid off some civilians. The British intelligence just paid off some civilians to get like the tank, and they smuggled it out. And
Smart move.
And that influenced NATO
Yeah.
tank design for like the next all until the end of the Soviet Union. War is bad, but
Yes,
planes.
war is.
But
War
planes
is bad.
are rad.
Controversial. Oh,
Yep.
this changes everything.
CF-104.
The CF-104 makes a comeback as a ground pounder.
Oh yeah, I could probably carry what, like 2 500-pounders at
If-
least.
Actually, I remember seeing this. I've got this like book of photos of the CF-104. Hold on, I'm gonna see if I can find it. But like basically, it was 104. Wah. But like it had all of its rockets on display, and someone in the RCAF thought, yeah, this thing is the A10. Don't even worry about it.
Oh yeah. RAP the AN225.
Oh yes,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
yeah. It's an
Uh,
A10. It's just an
Oh.
A10
Oh,
but
definitely.
faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slicker.
Yeah. Right now, the Canadian government is getting like these things out of the air museums. They're resurrecting them just to ship them off to Ukraine.
Honestly, so with all of the Russian vehicles just in really long columns, all you need is a B-52.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, would it cost less than an A-10 just to drop a bunch of bombs from high altitude and just leave?
Well, I know right now they're using the Bayraktar. Is that how you say it? It's Turkish word, but the Bayraktar UAVs, and they're just like what they're doing is they're taking out the vehicles at the very front and the very back of the column,
Mm.
and they're just leaving it.
Oh, so like the German method.
Yeah, literally. And like every so often they'll just go back, knock another one out,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, just go back to their business. Just clowning on them.
Yeah. This is such an
Go
unnecessary war, but at least you're getting a lot of interesting stories out of it.
Yeah, that's something, I guess.
They clearly just want to see us do a series on it.
Oh no.
That I don't think we're qualified for.
Nah,
Not at all.
Nah.
we're gonna have to wait like
We're not
5
even
years.
close. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we can barely talk about a heavy tank with like a lot of references, competently.
Yeah.
I don't know about a lot of references. There's not really a
Tank
lot
Encyclopedia
about
does not qualify as a lot of references.
that.
Well,
One or two
no.
websites.
There's War Thunder.
Yes,
Yeah,
there's
come
War
on.
Thunder, there's Tank Encyclopedia, and of course, reliable Wikipedia.
Yeah,
Of course.
and don't forget the tank chat.
Yeah,
Oh,
David
yes.
Fletcher.
David Fletcher, the Chieftain, and what's the other guy's name? Lindy Beige are like my top 3 favorite tank guys.
Yeah, Lindy Beige is funny.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and Squire, of
Oh
course.
yeah, of course. You guys watch many modelers on YouTube? Like
We're all thinking
Plasma,
the
Pretty-
same
Night
thing.
Shift,
Night Shift.
Pretty much the only thing I watch.
Yeah, Night
Asian
Shift,
World.
Plasma. Yep.
Shout out to all those guys.
Yeah.
Night
Yeah.
Shift, Plasmo, LPJ models. There's a guy, Boiler Models. Is that how you pronounce it? He does some really cool dioramas, like especially Star Wars ones.
That's cool.
Like he uses
Yeah,
filament and stuff like that for lasers. His ones are really good.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Smart.
Oh, Harry Houdini
That's
models.
really good.
Even Andy's hobby headquarters. I just like watching him put this stuff together.
Yeah.
Oh, Andy's hobby.
Yeah, his
headquarters,
ones are
yeah.
good.
I need to go meet him someday. He's only like
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude, you
7
have
or 8
no
hours.
excuse not to. You went to what was it, Connecticut for ArmorCon?
Yeah, which isn't even like a big show. It's just like a regional.
Must be nice.
Nice. Yeah, you gotta
Oh,
check out his. I haven't seen him in a while, but he was working on like a old model car museum or something.
I think it was like a tank factory actually that he was working
Yeah,
on.
the tank
Oh
factory,
yeah.
and he
Mhm.
broke it.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
Oh, no.
one of the videos. I was you watch it, and if you're watching chronological order, it's like he's got it, he's showing it off, and then he's like, this is what I've done, and then the very next one, yeah, so the big building snapped off and smashed into about 30 pieces.
Oh,
Yeah,
I need to go watch it now.
it's. I feel sorry for him, but at the same time, I did laugh a lot.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah,
And now I know
Cool.
Night Shift, he just sawed a Mark IV in half. As well
I
as
almost cried seeing that.
Yeah, that was painful.
Painful, but of course, his final result's gonna be like 10 times better than anything we can do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No offense, guys.
Nah, man.
Oh,
None
yeah,
taken.
total. I know my level.
Yeah.
See, all my stuff I make, I have a standing rule with everyone. When they, I say you can view it from 1 meter back, and that's as far close as you can get.
You're just gonna have to put safety tape around your models if you ever go to a show.
Right.
Yeah. In a like an aquarium, put it upside down so nobody can get too close.
There you go.
I wish there were model shows I could go to in Auckland.
I'm trying to think. We haven't had any model
still-
shows in the Toronto area since, 2 years. Well, more than 2 years ago now.
Ooh.
I haven't been to a show. Been to a in Peterborough. There was a toys and games convention, and there were a bunch of guys selling their stashes. So I picked up some stuff then, but that hasn't happened in 2 years. And
Okay.
that's the only thing I've been to.
All right, guys. Stash
What?
report. What do we have in our stashes that we're gonna be working on?
Stash report. I got a Tacom Skoda PA2 armored car. So I'm excited to do that. Of course, an Enterprise
Mhm.
with whichever many photo etch kits I'm going to order for that when that comes time.
Go all out.
Yeah, go all out. I've got 3 like Opel Blitz trucks.
Mm.
Toyota Phaeton, which that's just a Canadian kit only, I think. And a Bradley, an Osman, and I'm not really sure what else, but that's what I've got.
Jesus, I get so
Um,
jealous listening to you guys talk about stashes. I
My-
literally have the 2 I mentioned before, and that's it.
Hey,
That's
that's a
all I
good
got.
thing. You're
Yeah,
not
it is a
playing
good thing.
the
You know,
much opportunity.
keeps you building your. Okay, my stash is probably like a good 7 to like 9 Panzer IVs, 2 or
jeez.
3 Panzer IIs, a bunch of Tamiya armor, 1 or 2 Chinese, a few Russian. And shout out to Wade Buff on Kitmaker for like graciously giving me half of his stash when he moved. He's awesome, and
He
I
just
hope to
shipped it
meet
to
him in
you.
September.
He just shipped it to you,
Yeah.
like without even
That's
like
great.
letting you know. You just had like all this
Yeah,
stuff
I
show
had-
up.
Yeah,
Crazy.
he said he was sending me 1 kit, and then these 3 huge 20 by 20 boxes showed up.
Wait, actually?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it was
I
crazy.
saw the photos of it. All right, in my stash, I'm on like Operation Stash Reduction right now, so no, I haven't bought any new
I can
kits for a while. Shout out first of all to Wade and Ezra because when Ezra got like his big stash, he just said, "Hey, what do you want?" And me being a JGSDF nerd said, "Hey, I like that Type 90 with the mine roller." So I've got Tamiya Type 90 with the photo etch. Outside of that, I've got an A6 Intruder 148 scale from Hobby Boss. The fuselage and landing gear are all built up on it, but other than that, it's just like haven't worked on it yet. I've got a Hasegawa 148 scale F2, which is like the Japanese F16, and I've also got some special decals from DXM in Hong Kong. I've got a 1 to 35th scale Elephant from Tamiya that's basically sitting half built, as well a Panther G, which at some point Jack's going to pick that up. And
Heck yes.
yeah, and outside of that, like, I'm just like taking this. I'm killing 2 birds in 1 stone by mixing this technical kit with the KV1 kit.
Right.
And yeah, hopefully the stash.
Oh, what about your
Yeah, go ahead.
your modernized RAM?
Oh, dude, that's on the like. I've actually got most of it built up in terms of like the hull. The hull and the turret is
Nice.
built up, and I've cut all the parts for the tracks off. But I'm not really in the
Mm,
mood to work on the tracks. I think maybe my first like foray into like very serious resin printing will just be to like make
yeah,
I don't know some sort of like side skirt I can put over the tracks, so I only have to do a few
sure.
of them. Yeah, I've also got a Leopard 2A6M from Hobby Boss,
Ooh,
which is actually without any track runs right now because I pillaged its vinyl tracks to put on the 2A4M. Yeah, that's my stash.
saw it off.
Literally.
You know, you guys have just inspired me. I've literally just bought another model just because I don't feel like I've got enough with me at the moment.
Did you just
So
buy one now?
yeah,
Yeah.
while you were talking, I was just like,
Where'd
oh
you get?
fuck, been looking at one for ages, and but it's a bit pricey. But I thought, oh fuck it, I'm just gonna get it.
Man's on Hobby Link Japan.
Yeah,
What you?
MMP,
Oh no.
fueling your scale modeling addiction since 2022.
Okay, what'd you get then? You gotta tell us.
Just
Yeah.
bought the Tacom 135th. It's the Mark IV heavy tank, but it's the tadpole.
Oh
Tadpole
yeah.
one.
Ooh,
Oh,
nice.
Elongated with the mortar on the back, because like my go-to for a model is something weird, wonderful, bizarre, or just a bit unknown about it, and that one just fits it so well. So I've literally just bought
got the
that.
water.
Yeah, it's got the mortar on the back and everything. So
Oh
I think
dang.
that one
Oh,
should be
nice.
turned into like a diorama.
Does that have
Yeah.
one piece workable tracks? Looks like it.
It's got the yeah, it's got clip-on workable tracks. Yeah,
Oh, that's nice.
yeah, yeah. So that one's
Imagine
yeah,
trying
so
to
that
turn
one's
that thing.
hopefully on its way.
Don't night shift that.
No, I'm not.
That would
I'm
be
not gonna.
painful.
I'm not that brave. I mean, I did the most like damage I've ever done was on my Jumbo 76 Jumbo Sherman, and
Mm,
that was just
Mm.
following Night Shift's bloody impacts on the on the front hull and stuff like that. That's as brave as I've gotten so far. Not sawing it in half.
Well, that looks like it's gonna be fun.
yeah. His shell impact videos they're great because I remember when I started, I always wanted to see a video on how to do it, but there was never any. When he released them, like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. Honestly, like a lot of his tutorials are pretty life saving.
Yeah.
Mm,
Really good. Yeah.
yeah,
My friends.
Uh,
I
so
gotta say, like when I did my first YouTube channel, which is my first YouTube video, tried to copy not copy Night Shift, but try and have that sort of like a bit of a persona on it, and
Sure.
it just flopped so hard. I was just my first 3 videos, I've only got 5 up there, and I want to delete the first 3 already. This is so bad. Still learning. Like voiceover for me is probably the worst. Trying to talk.
Mm,
Like, I can talk at someone, but I can't talk to myself. You just get a
sure.
bit too self conscious of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like every like if you hear me talk, like say something, guaranteed that will be the 6th or 7th take on saying that.
Yeah, I could never.
That's why these podcasts are gonna be great because it's just like one take. Don't even worry.
Yeah. 100% natural.
all natural.
This is how our conversations sound like in real life, by the way.
Right.
Yeah. In real life, with giant quotes.
Yes, Tadpole is officially bought in 3 days. It should be here.
3 days. Where are you getting it
Awesome.
from?
That's one good thing is like at the moment, Postal in Auckland is just like upped its game because of COVID. So this one's not actually too. I think it's like I don't know, less than 70k away. So this shop. So
Oh,
yeah,
not
Oh,
bad.
nice.
yeah. That's the thing is like I can usually get something delivered within about 2 days. But yeah, It's just lack of actually anything to buy, to be honest. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when COVID started, the mail was horrible. Like, it took
Oh.
over a year and a half to get these 2 kits I ordered from Korea.
Yeah, like during the start of COVID, I ordered. Well, it was when things were taking just forever, and I ordered from Sunward Hobbies in Toronto, and it
Shout out to
came in 2
Sunward.
days. And shout out to Sunward, they're amazing. But it came in like 2 days, and that was during the time when like you'd order something from like I don't know Amazon, and it would take like a week and a half, 2 weeks, and they just came in 2 days. It was crazy.
Yeah, I remember right when this started. That was when I actually like got into model making seriously, because I was in quarantine.
Yeah.
Because I was actually in
Yeah.
Arizona and I came back to Canada. So you've got 2 weeks. So I tried to bang out the Ryfield M1A2 SCP V3. Gave up on that. So I ordered Tamiya King Tiger in Type 10. Took it was like 3 months for it to get from Scarborough to Oshawa. And for reference for people, it's like Scarborough's a 45-minute drive away if you don't take the highway. Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, that's a good question. How did everyone else get into model making?
Easy.
I got in.
War Thunder.
Yeah, you go, Ezra.
I went to a museum in Arizona, and they had a scratch-built 1/72nd scale model of USS Arizona.
Oh,
I was like, oh my
nice.
god, that's so cool. Like, I'm like, I want to do that. So I went to the gift shop and bought the really crappy Revell, like 1/720 scale Arizona, and built that. I'm
Ooh.
like, this is fun.
Nice.
Well, War Thunder, obviously. And then I started watching like plasma videos on YouTube when I was up in the Yukon, because if you go to the Yukon, you either go on a walk or stay at home. There's not much stuff to do, especially when it gets colder. So I started watching some plasma videos, and that got me inspired. So when I came back home, I picked up a B25 J Mitchell from Michaels, not a Michaels, and yeah, built it up, and it didn't look that great, and I still have it kind of. It's falling apart, but that's when I caught this disease that we all have.
That's a pretty
Nice.
accurate way to describe it.
Yeah.
I actually started when I was 5, which
Really?
you wouldn't believe looking at the quality I make. I built my first one with my dad when I was 5 years old. It was a Hawker Hurricane, and I've still got it. It's actually mounted on the wall with the rest of I call them the heritage collection. So it was between when I was it was between when I was 5 and 13. I was building them with the help of my dad for like at least half of them until I got a bit older. But yeah, I was just like, it was exclusively aircraft, and then I just stopped. Around 13 when you hit high school, and people start taking a piss out of you for it. That whole sort of teenage assholery. And I didn't actually get back into it until end of 2019. I spent 2019 traveling, and for some reason, model YouTubers started popping up on my feed, and I thought, I was over in different parts of Europe and stuff, and I was just watching them. I thought, oh, I should really get back into it. So eventually, when I got home, because I ran out of money, I had a kit that I bought. It was the Airfix 76 scale Cromwell, and I bought that years ago in a sort of failed attempt when I was about 19 to restart it. Never got round to it. and so it'd been sitting there for years. I thought, oh, screw it, feel like building that, and yeah, kind of just snowballed from there.
I get the double dose of high school ancillary because not only do I build models, but I also play golf, which is considered such an easy sport. And
Ezra, nah, man. We all know that you don't actually go to school or sleep. At the rate you build, nah.
no, I'll just be in an online class and I'll be listening. I'm like, yeah, I can do two things at once. So I'll pull out a just a over-engineered kit and just try to build some parts.
Well, that's what I've been doing for the past year until I actually went back to school.
Yeah, for me, it like turned. The timing was pretty good because started getting back into modeling, and then COVID hit. In New Zealand, we ended up having to do a 4-week intensive lockdown where we couldn't even leave the house. So stocked up on about 5 or 6 models. Yeah, so that was 4 weeks of stuck in the house, so building them, and then that was what we called level 4, where you couldn't leave the house except for food shopping, that sort
Sure.
of thing. And then we spent
Yeah.
3 months at a lower level because I couldn't go to work. I couldn't work at all because I work on construction sites and stuff, so I couldn't work.
Sure.
So I had a lot of free time. So that's when I fully got like submerged into model making, and then I've had another surge because originally I had a stash of like 5 or 6 rather large models that I was sitting there going, I'm not going to get round these until like next year or something. And then it was mid last year we ended up having to do a 6 or 7 week level 4 lockdown, which was not fun at all. But yeah, so let's just say I'm into modeling at the moment because it really kept my sanity at the same time.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I started building models probably when I was I think I started when I was around 4 because my dad gave me this 1/72 scale CT-114 Tudor, which is basically, if you are aware of the Canadian Air Force Snowbirds, which is like our aerobatic team. The Tudor is this old trainer jet from the 60s that they've just kept running. So yeah, I saw that. Thought it was the coolest thing ever. Started building like Airfix kits and painting them with Crayola markers, as one does.
Nice.
And I stopped. Played War Thunder for a bit. I think it was like mid-high school. I was walking home in a snowstorm, and I stopped into a hobby store because it was freezing my eyebrows off. And yeah, just realized, hey, they actually make like not just aircraft, but tanks. And first proper model I did was the AVGP Cougar. I think every Canadian modeler is like legally required to make one of those trumpeter kits at some point in their lives. And
or multiple, like Dawn. Shout out to Can Medic.
Can Medic, we appreciate you.
Yes.
Yeah, always got to do a shout out.
We're just gonna shout out like all the guys on Kitmaker.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I've built like 7 AVGP models. Each one progressively getting less and less historically accurate. And yeah, back in like 2019, well actually no, early 2020, I started working at the hobby store. And ever since then, I've just been really into it. And that's what I do.
That's a great job.
It's a great job. Highly recommended. And you meet a lot of people. Like, there was this one guy. Shout out Brian. Brian, you're an awesome guy. If you ever watch this, he spent like the last 3 or so years working on this diorama of the Ontario Regiment in Italy, probably in 19.
Actually.
Oh yeah, I'll post videos of the disc, not videos, but photos later. But yeah, he's got like this. He's got like these dragon Commonwealth figures that he's just a savant with doing them. And he's got the Tobias Sherman, and he's scratch built all of these Italian buildings on both sides of the street.
Oh, cool.
Hey, that sounds good.
Is that what you posted pictures of on the Instagram a while back?
Yeah, I posted like one picture of it. Oh no, I posted it to the group chat. Yeah.
Yeah, to the group chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
It's sad because like
gorgeous.
I couldn't actually do justice with it with like a phone camera. You had to be there in person. But yeah, it's nice because you get to like talk to customers and see what
Yeah.
they're doing. Yeah.
A long
JC.
podcast.
Yeah, I know, right? We've been going for 2 hours. See,
Hey,
I'll say one last thing. You guys are lucky to have a hobby store so close to you. The closest two to me are like 2.5 hours away at least,
oh,
and
Jesus.
and horribly overpriced.
So it turns
Um,
out Wade sending you his stash was actually like kind of a humanitarian thing.
yes, exactly.
yeah.
So, they have a good stock at least.
Well, we did a podcast.
We did a podcast. Our
did
next
it.
episode will be on the Tacoma Narrows Bridge disaster.
No, we can't say that. We can't say that. That's like that's something like copyright infringement. We're gonna get like
I know.
we're gonna get canceled, and then the people from Well, There's Your Problem are gonna just like kill us in our sleep.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
We can't compete with them.
Nah.
We gotta
No,
share an audience.
Yeah, Liam's gonna bomb me with a technical.
Yes.
Yeah. Is this a technical?
But yeah, we should like what
Uh,
our next video should be on something. How about we do like a show and tell podcast? Get your work in progress
Oh.
photos out.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
That means I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
get.
wait.
I'm gonna have to start something.
Nah, man, just post the box art. We'll just salivate over that.
Yeah. What's the book?
Yeah.
Actually, I do have a diorama that I've been working on for 6 months. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Well, hell, man, post
Nice.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully
wait.
we can get Vale in the next episode and he'll show his awesome Battle of Berlin dio.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And
That
Christian,
one's looking sweet.
he's doing his church
Right?
dio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should have Ken Medic
Yeah.
on here sometime.
Yeah. Oh, we should have him on for the
Yeah,
next episode just to show his finished up.
Yeah. We're not even going to ask him. We're just going to
What
like
if?
force him into the chat.
Yeah.
Cool.
I wonder if we could divide this episode in two, because one was like talking, one half was talking, and one half was the T14.
True. Yeah, we went completely off the rails.
Yeah, it's gonna
Or off the tracks like the T14.
Ah.
I see what you said.
Well, I can also just like make timestamps. So like, hey, if you want to skip the talking, just watch
Right.
this timestamp,
true.
and then if you want to include the talking, or just have the talking, and not us just
How's
like
all your
Rambling.
yeah.
rambling? How's all of your internet? Because there's no way I'd be able to upload this.
That's okay. I've got
Wagon.
like Ethernet and all that. I can upload it.
Oh, great. Okay.
Benefits of having a computer science guy.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm surprised how smoothly this went.
Yeah,
I
this
don't-
went really well.
We probably didn't offend too many people.
Unless
Yeah.
you're Russian.
No, I think
Yeah,
we approached it pretty reasonably.
Yeah, you might have to bleep this out, but if you're an evil Russian,
You
You-
can have
you know,
a
go
nice
fuck
time.
yourself.
You can have a
Yeah,
nice time.
yeah. Right,
We
yeah,
are
have a
very
nice
friendly.
time. We will not jump in a Leo 2A6M and go over there.
Hot take: the 2A6M is actually a better tank than the 2A7. I will fight. I will die on this hill.
True.
You can fight me. I will fight you. Come on, take it outside.
I mean,
Cold outside.
This is
just
true.
put a it's
Not where I
beautiful
am.
outside for me. It's a cloudless day. It's probably a good 78 degrees. Yeah, I was golfing before I got on here.
I mean, Jack, right now it's 1 degree and we have a wind warning. So, I mean, take what you can get.
No. Oh yeah, it's gonna be like 16 tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah.
Climate change. It's real.
Yes.
It is a thing.
Cool.
Cool.
Anybody got
Yeah.
anything they'd like to shout out or promote before I pull the plug?
Yeah, go sign up for Kitmaker Network. It's awesome. Jim does a great job of running it.
Thank you, Jim.
And yeah, thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
And I guess follow all of our Instagrams.
I'll put them in the
Uh,
description.
You
Yeah.
can follow my YouTube if you're really desperate to watch someone fail.
I don't know, your video's great.
Yeah,
You're
he's got good
defiant.
stuff.
Yeah.
Autoloader, I normally wouldn't plug my business, but Autoloader Decals is currently doing a bit of a charitable thing. I am selling water slide decal sets with the Ukrainian flag and coat of arms in a whole bunch of like different sizes, including you could put them on as like nationality patches on 35th scale figures or on tanks. But all of the proceeds, including the cost of the shipping, is actually being sent to the Ukrainian humanitarian appeal, which is being run by the Ukrainian
Awesome.
Canadian Congress.
Awesome.
It funds stuff like shelters for the refugees in Poland. It is funding food, water, medical supplies as well. It also is, I think, some of the money going to sort of like a big fund for the families of Ukrainian veterans. That's on Kitmaker. If you're interested, just look it up on the buy and sell forum. Yeah.
Oh, actually, you know what you could do? You could also probably add some Ukrainian roundels to that, so you could make the Ghost of Kiev's MiG-29.
I was actually thinking about that,
yeah.
and originally I had all the Ukrainian tank insignia up, and I thought, it's kind of dicey that like I'm selling this for a Ukrainian humanitarian.
True.
I
Yeah.
will if people do want it. I would definitely be willing to like still do that and then just like send the money all the same.
I mean, I thought his aircraft was only the roundels and the coat of arms. Like,
probably.
I mean, from what I saw, I don't know.
Well, that's what's going on right now. If it's successful, I'll do like whatever people want as far as Ukrainian
Right.
related. But yeah,
Nice.
cool.
Wait,
Yeah, this was a podcast.
We did it.
Okay, we did it.
the podcast. Yeah,
We're gonna try doing this next week.
Sure.
Yeah,
Maybe. Yeah.
sure. Always down.
Alrighty.
All right.
Bye,
How do we
everybody.
close it? Do we?
Yeah. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.